Lauren Arnold, welcome to the Game Informer Show, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you. We're looking for an expert on Jackbox Party Pack 6, and you seem like the person to go to. How long have you been at that studio?
I started in 2012 when we were still part of Jellyvision, and we were making You Know Jack on Facebook. So I hired him as a writer for that, and then been kind of back and forth. And then we went to Jackbox, I think 2014, and been kind of, here ever since.
Yeah.
So.
What games have you directed in the Party Packs in the past?
Just Patently Stupid before that. So I did writing on all the games. Then last year, I switched over to directing on Patently Stupid. So.
I love Patently Stupid. Congratulations. Here's the thing, though. I am so annoyed by people that do like the present this for me option. I want to kick them out of my effing house. Is it okay to shame those people that do the auto joke, auto tell, even in Joke Boat, when people don't tell their own jokes? I'm like, what are we playing the game for then, everybody?
No, I'm not going to say I agree because we built those features and
for cowards.
Yeah, it is kind of a point sometimes I feel like it's like, yeah, just go for it. Try it out. So
right. It's like going out to karaoke and then if there's like a sing for me option, let's just play the actual song. I'll just sit here and listen to the song.
You know what? I think you're onto something there.
So what's the process like for internally just stepping up to direct a game? Is it just if you pitch a game, you get to direct it in the Party Pack, or is it like a Pixar short situation where just you choose different talent to step up and direct a game within the studio?
Yeah. So Allard Laban typically is kind of the shepherd of that. And we try to find people who kind of have an affinity for certain games. Sometimes it will be that way. Like Spencer Ham, say, would pitch a game like Survive the Internet. And then that's his baby. He understands it, so it makes sense for him to direct it. Sometimes someone pitches a game, but they don't want to direct or whatever the case may be. And they'll be like, well, who do you think, or who do we think internally would, shepherd this through the process well?
Yeah.
And I pitched Push the Button, I believe 2 years ago. And it's like a whole process to get it to where it is now. It's gone through so many iterations. So it just made sense, for me to, stick with it and get it to where it needed to be. It can be kind of loosey-goosey, but most of the time, if someone's had directed before or is interested in becoming a director and they pitch a game, there's a good chance, they might get tasked to do that if they're open to it. So
yeah, and it's got to be amazing for everybody in that studio just to have the idea of you directing a game on your resume. Not that anybody would ever leave the studio, but just that idea, right? Of there's no quicker way to come into a studio and then direct a game, get that experience, and then it's just really helpful for moving on. How big of a difference is it directing a game versus just writing for a game?
Oh, it's big. Because we don't really call ourselves lead writers or anything like that, but especially before we hired more writers, some of us would have to kind of take a bigger lead on a game. And so while you're cranking out content and make sure the voice stays consistent, the directors obviously have to make sure the art is flowing in a certain direction, make sure just the overall holistic approach is going the way it should. Whereas when I was a writer, I'd be like, well, I'm sure the art will turn out great. I'm going to focus on these jokes for 2 months. So you kind of silo yourself a little bit to get that big core of work done. Yeah, directing is just making sure the whole team is, where they need to be and empowered to do. Because that's one thing with our games too. I feel like and having never worked at another game studio, I always just assumed a director's job, maybe it's like a movie where it's well, I see it, my vision is this and my vision is that, and that's the way it's going to be. And while there is a little bit of that, it's everybody touching these games has a little bit of their soul sucked into them a little bit. Otherwise, they just wouldn't get done and they wouldn't be as fun and as vibrant as they are.
Yeah. And you talk about,
I think that's the hard thing with a director is making sure everybody is represented in those.
For sure. And you talk about, just kind of managing the art and overseeing the art. I mean, I think just the production values, the last 3 years or so with the Party Packs have just been really, really impressive. And I love Party Pack 6, but that was one of the big takeaways I was playing is God, still, just for a game that's largely text-based, just the presentation is so good.
Yeah, it's the artist and the art and the music, everything blows me away about the work we do sometimes. I'm really amazed at the talent we have. But this year with the art, I was we had for Push the Button, Bruno came on. And he came out with these old 3D models. And I was like, we can do that? And he's like, yeah. It's it's pretty easy. I was like, well, that's what we're going to do then if you can finish it. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, let's walk through the evolution of push the button.
God. Yeah.
It's my
How long
favorite.
do you have?
We got all the time in the world. That's fine. It's my favorite out of the pack. Like, I love social deception games. Like Avalon it has been one of my favorite tabletop games of all time. And so for years now, I've been like, God, why won't Jackbox try and do this? It seems right there. And you all got close with faking it. That's like, from Jackbox Party Pack 3, I think, where it's kind of inching in that direction. It just didn't quite capture what we were looking for. And now finally, you guys have ripped off the Band-Aid and I think pulled it off in a really spectacular way. So, okay, walk me through your interest in this type of game, the social deception game.
Well, a lot of it comes from faking it. Like me personally, I had not played a lot of social deduction games, and then until I worked here, and then everybody's like, "Oh, like let's play, let's play Secret Hitler." That we really love that. We know the guys over there at Cards, so that was always fun. We'd play that on like Friday afternoons and scream and yell at each other. And then when Faking It came out, the summer we were working on that, I was writing a bunch for Faking It, and Faking It was one of my favorite things in the world to write on, just because. Like with something, say like, Jack, I'm going to spend most of my day thinking of like 4 questions and like, okay, how do I twist this and make it satisfying? With Faking It, I would sit and be like, who in the room has the smelliest poops? And so just trying to think of like that fun aspect that Faking It's trying to go for. And then when we were able to play it that holiday season, just had like some of the biggest laughs in the room. And I was like, this is great. This is something that we need to try to capture in some way. And like, it's like Arnie did such a great job of bringing that side of like, busted into one of our games. So then when we were back in the pitching season, I was like, I love Faking It. I want to try to like keep exploring that vein of ideas.
But not call it Faking It too?
Yeah, well, yeah, there was I think we thought about that. I think my original thing was like, well, what if Faking It had drawing? What if Faking It had a little bit more of like a quiplash or something like that in it? And I was just trying to think of like what else. And with Faking It, obviously it's like, okay, in round 1 we caught the faker, let's move on to round 2, someone else. And I was just trying to think like, well, it would be neat if it was like 1 or 2 people the entire time, you have to find them. I'm also a big fan of the movie The Thing from like back in the 80s. Like, I mean, everybody knows it, but I saw it as a kid when I was like 7, and I've just been like obsessed with that movie. I just love the test scene. So it was just kind of a natural, like, thematic thing. I was like, okay, well, let's say you have a certain amount of time, you have to test them, and we'll use our drawings and all the things that make our Jackbox games like so silly and fun. And I pitched that for Party Pack 4. And it has gone through, everybody in the office got sick of me play testing Push the Button because it just never was quite right.
Yeah.
We'd always get to a place where if you're playing as the alien, you would be found out in like 2 minutes.
Because the clues were too different?
Yeah. So it'd be the thing of like, draw Napoleon, and then you might get, draw Abraham Lincoln or something, trying to fool it. But like there was no way to hide. Yeah. So the second we were found out, it's like, okay, well, I guess the game's over, and we did it with 6 minutes to spare.
Right.
And then we'd make some tweaks, and it'd be like way too easy for the aliens then to just run out the clock. And so we tried so many variations and different things. And then last year it got really close to what it is now, where you start working with like hacks and things like that, and just trying to empower the aliens a little bit without making it incredibly difficult for humans. And then this year, Evan Jacover wanted to kind of revisit it. I was kind of a little bit burnt out on it, I feel, because it's like I've tried so many things, and you still want to be unique and Jackboxy without seeming like another game. And then he came up with the idea of like, okay, you get to pick whatever test you want. Aliens can hack, and we just kind of went through this whole thing of like choosing rooms and stuff like that. And that just really kind of then cracked the code a little bit for us. So it was such a revelation, be like, yes, we're finally going to make this game.
This is about a 50-50. Yeah. So originally, did it have like the art style from The Thing? Did you want to really pull from that directly in the early days?
A little bit. I think more that I was just trying to get across like a sense of claustrophobia, like where it's, I remember originally it was like you've landed on a planet and your ship is going to explode because the computer had found out there's an alien there. If the alien gets out, it's going to like kill the planet. Or some weird, stupid narrative that does not work.
People don't like the lore.
What's that?
I said people don't like the lore in Jackbox games. So yeah, the setup, I got it. The intro, yeah. Let's get to the laughs here.
That's the thing. Yeah, I just had this whole overbaked thing in my head. But it was, it's like you've landed on a planet, but before you can get out of your ship, like you have to find the alien or not. We have to do the quarantine, just blow everything up. And I'm not really sure if I had an aesthetic in mind. I just wanted to make sure everyone's stuck in a room or a confined space where you can't just leave.
Right.
That was I think that was the only thing in my head, but yeah.
Okay. And so it was sci-fi from the beginning then?
So that was, it all started with drawing is where it was always going to be a drawing game. And then so we opened it up and then we didn't even put the opinion hold and deliberation deck in until this year. So it was just something we weren't even sure if they worked really. We were changing some of the rules up until the final week. So,
so what is the magic of having prompts that are just close enough? Mm-hmm. Is there any, I don't know, rules you put in place of just how to write those style of prompts? Like one that we got was draw Pikachu versus draw a rat being struck by lightning. Because that's the diabolical part is sometimes if you're the alien and you get the prompt and it says draw a rat being struck by lightning, it's what could everybody else possibly have? Or I think one that I got was draw the least used emoji. Something like that, right? And then it's okay, what could everybody possibly have? And then, of course, they have draw an emoji. So it's damn it, okay. It's beautifully subtle how different these things are, where you can always make an argument for why you should be correct. Yeah,
that's the thing. It should give you some level of plausible deniability. We also try to work in a way to where if you think you can memorize all the prompts, the human prompt might be something like draw an electrocuted rat or something.
Right.
And then maybe it's Pikachu another time. It's it'll kind of hop around a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I didn't know it flipped like that.
Sometimes I've pulled alien decoys and made them an actual prompt for humans and stuff like that. Just so if someone tries to memorize the game, they'll get in trouble. So.
That's so smart. Speaking of getting in trouble, is it no problem for you guys to reference Pikachu as long as it's just in text form? You can just write about whatever you want?
I guess we'll find out.
Come at me, Pokemon Company.
I've never really thought about it. So. Yeah. So, maybe I'll call our lawyer right after this. But guess what I did?
Sure. How's the team feeling about Party Pack 6 overall? How do you feel this pack kind of separates or just thematically feels different from other ones?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I feel I don't know. I feel like every pack we make, I don't know that we ever internally say this is our best one yet. So much as we're excited for something else about it. Maybe because after 3, everyone will be this is your best one. It's okay, great. But we want to work on Fibbage. We love those. We love different weird games. And some of them get the love, some don't. I feel for 6, it feels very artistically, what am I trying to say? Just kind of rewarding. It's got games that we think are very Jackboxy, things that have kind of been kicking around for a little bit that scratch different itches. I feel we push some boundaries, and it's kind of one of those things we hope it's the best one, but then, should we do another pack? We hope that's the best one.
Yeah.
What a non-committal answer I just gave. So.
That's fair. What is Push the Button the oldest game in the pack, or have some of these been kicking around for longer than Push the Button?
I believe so, because TMP2, obviously it's a sequel, but because Dictionary almost pitched this year. Role Models I think may have had some DNA going last year. And then, what's our other game?
Joke Boat.
Joke Boat was this year. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I love
you
guys deserve an award for just the name Joke Boat. It's so stupid and so simple. It really makes me laugh.
That was pitched on day one, and I think everybody in the office was that's the name of it. That's just is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thematically it works. The art's going to be fantastic. And it's basically just, trying to expand beyond Quiplash, which does everybody see Quiplash as the most successful or the go-to game?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. I feel when someone around Chicago or wherever I'm at is kind of what's Jackbox Games? I'll be well, you've probably seen Quiplash or something like that. I feel that's the first game we'll reference. Yeah.
You don't know Jack?
If I think it's someone who might have been alive during the 90s, that's one. If it's someone who's, probably 25 or younger, you've probably played Quiplash. So.
Yeah, for sure. What would surprise us about the development of the party packs? What would we expect? What do you guys spend more of your time doing than we would anticipate?
Well, I'm sorry. What was that last part?
What do you guys spend more time doing than we would anticipate on our end?
It's playtesting. Like right now, there's people playing paper versions of games right now that like who knows where any of our ideas go. Sometimes it's like you have 30% of an idea and like let's just go see if anything's going to happen from this. So as I walked over here, like I walked past 2 different game tests going on. I feel like we spend most of our year just playing some sort of idea or just trying to make a joke out of something. So other than that, the only thing I think would surprise anybody, I think everybody probably thinks it is like laughs and giggles all the time. Right. But I would say during production, it's like we're pretty serious. So yeah, I think everybody expects it to be like a big fun house here, and it is awful. It is.
I'd imagine too. It's a lot of people like, hey, seriously, I'm trying to program this game to get it out the door, and then people are like, come play test this idea maybe for next year, and it's like I don't have effing time for that. I'd imagine that's 40% of the discussions in the office.
A lot of it, yeah. I feel like as a couple of games start moving along, it's a little harder to then say get something play tested because people are busy. So it's like we crank out 5 games in a year, so try to steal someone's time where you can. So
for sure.
And I think I just made it sound like we're at a very like buttoned up place, but we're not. But it's just I feel like when I do talk to people, it's like it must just be crazy jokes all day, and it's like it's only half the day. So
at some point you get sick.
At 1 o'clock, we get our crap together. So.
Well, congratulations on the new party pack. I mean, it's some of the most fun you can have in gaming this year. So watching Twitch streams for Push the Button, I think are going to be so much fun.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. I feel like that's a big part of our launch day festivities is like sitting around watching other people stream it and see their reactions to it. So
judging jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like that's what they're doing. So.
Cool. Well, hey, Warren Arnold, thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. This is great.
Absolutely. That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.